Yes, Morbius.
You call me Morbius?
Yeah.
It's Dr. Michael. It's Venom. Dr.
I should have called you. Yeah, what do you say?
Dr. Eddie
I'm
Brock.
Dr. Venom. Yeah. I'm Dr. Venom.
Telling you, that shit might as well have been Venom.
Yeah,
You swap symbiotes for vampires, and that's basically what the movie was about. Like, I know we're pretty much spoiling it at this point, but I mean, what has to be said. So, but
they should have just got Riz Ahmed to come back as but just
real.
play like his friend or whatever. How they did Gemma Chan.
He still plays Bodhi from Rogue One.
Oh yeah, I thought you said Bokeem at first. I was like, no, me and my Bokeem Rodney name that I keep getting confused just for no reason. Oh, also, we didn't talk about this because we've been pretty absent lately because we've been really busy, obviously, but working on new content as well. The Oscars. How did you guys like the Oscars? And how did you like it?
The tea is hot tonight. I want to know your thoughts first because I don't have much to say about the slap that launched 1,000 memes. But
yeah,
actually, before that, what did you think of like the winners? Because I think Coda deserved all the awards he got.
Yeah, it was great.
Dune, I don't think should have deserved all those awards. It was great. I did like that. We did a whole review on it. I thought it was beautiful. I don't think it shouldn't have deserved that many awards. But tell me your thoughts.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I figured I really loved the visual effects for Dune because I was really impressed with the explosion scenes. I was also impressed with the laser scene that they were cutting through the door. I was like, wow, that's like just, that was really cool. And like dust particles in the air interacting with that laser. That was great. But like, so I was fine with that. With Coda, I didn't watch Coda. I watched it that night after the Oscars, and I was like, wow, it's such like an endearing film, and it's really beautiful. Like even the ending for that movie was like it made me want to like cry. It was just beautiful. I felt like it really deserved it, and also it was so sweet how the audience also did like that thing for the clapping. They did this, so I think it was well deserved. I think a lot of like movies I didn't see, unfortunately. I'm glad The Power of the Dog won for one of them because that was like one of my favorite films.
Yeah, I remember you said you watched that one.
Yeah, like animation. I figured always. I would say Parable would win, or so I was gonna say Paramount.
West Side Story, I think, was nominated too. I didn't watch that. I don't know if you did.
Yeah,
I know you're not like huge into musicals.
Me neither.
Even though you were a Les Mis in high school. But
oh yeah, I know. I hated.
I find P&Gs. I'm pulling that shit out.
I'll try to find it. I don't know. It's hard to find. It's deep in the archives. I mean.
Right.
I really wanted Tick Tick Boom to win more. I felt like Andrew's
I know. We got to
performance-
talk about Tick Tick Boom because I wanted Andrew so bad to win an award for that. I think he won a Golden Globe for it, but I wanted him really bad to at least be nominated because that was such a good movie.
I don't like musicals. I love that movie. I it was so great. He did so well. Who won Best Actor? I forgot. Oh, well, Will Smith. There you go.
Ironically,
there you go. Well, let's
he could slap others, but not himself.
Right, I know. So I didn't watch King Richard. It's on HBO Max. I didn't watch. I wasn't like that interested, to be honest. A lot of movies this year I wasn't like super like interested in watching.
I was going to watch Macbeth with Denzel.
Apple TV Plus.
Didn't get the time to like. I feel like so that's why like some movies like I know we were gonna have like a deeper discussion on this, but like I feel like some movies just like if it's not marketed to me like if I don't see enough of it, I'm probably just gonna sleep on it. And I feel like that also attributes a lot to like social media, like our attention span is like so short.
Yeah, that's for sure a factor. I mean, like Macbeth, it reminded me a lot of The Lighthouse. I didn't watch it, but like the aspect ratio they had was like kind of like that experimental, or even like Zack Snyder's Justice League, remake, I guess. Kind of reminded me of that. It was interesting. I love Denzel. But like all the other films, I really wasn't like interested in. Like there was a 3-hour movie with like, I think it's a Japanese film. It's like I love my car, I ride my car, or some shit like that, where a guy's like cross road. I think that won something. I don't know. That's the thing with me with the Oscars. It's like the Oscars wasn't like how it used to be. Like I feel like back then, like around 2014 up, that's when it started to like decline, especially in numbers. Like and obviously like proofs in the pudding. Like look what happened with the slap, right? It's like I don't know. It's not like I feel like the Oscars is supposed to be
It's
like this
becoming the
huge.
MTV Movie Awards.
Yes, it's exactly like that. It's supposed to be like this thing where it's like larger than life, but like really classy, like has this like classic feel. Like that's the one place you just have to act like that. It's like right there, because I feel like the other award shows are like more like intimate. They're kind of smaller, right? So I'm not
Mhm.
saying like get like Nicki Minaj to like go to like the BAFTA awards and like yeah, whatever. But like this felt like really like it wasn't the Oscars. It felt like a lot like even what like maybe the Grammys or like MTV Awards. And the
Which
thing with Will
ironically is
Smith,
coming tomorrow.
yeah, the like again, proofs in the pudding. The thing with Will Smith, I was first of all, I was shocked. I remember I was texting you. I was like, I'm at you, and you said it sounds like our audio or something like that. I was
You know,
sick.
when it
I was
cuts
like,
out.
I didn't know what happened. I was shocked. I was
I
like,
didn't either because we were watching it on separate like at time
yeah,
zones, I guess, because mine was like I was watching it on my phone, so I had like a 5 second delay. So you already saw it. So
yeah.
then when you asked me like what happened, I was like, oh shit, well like what happened? Then I saw the glitch, and I was like, oh shit, was that like a technical delay or something? Like did they like I don't know if it was just maybe like the audio or something or the video whatever. But then like when I saw like I was reading Twitter, and then I saw like the video from like Australia or like Japan, like the footage. So they saw the whole thing that transpired, with Will, and he was cussing out Chris, and I was like, oh shit, and that's when
Yeah.
you and me hopped on the meme wagon.
Better hop on. I mean, my thing is like I really like that. I like. I feel like this is like one of those things where a lot of people are divided, but I feel like people shouldn't be divided on the matter because first of all, you shouldn't assault anyone whatsoever. And like if he wanted to assault Chris, this wasn't a place to do it. Like I feel like he was so detached from reality at that moment, and you noticed too, he was like laughing at first, and then he looked at Jada. I feel like that's
That's
a
my issue. He
major.
laughed first,
Yeah,
and then he looked at Jada. That's where I draw the issue.
that was a component, and like he went up, and Chris even thought he was like kidding or something like that, and he slapped him. And I feel like it didn't click into Chris's mind until he started to curse, like keep my wife's fucking name. And honestly, for me, like a lot of people, like a lot of celebrities stuff were saying that too. Like I would have just kicked him out. Or at least what I would have done is on commercial break, I would have went to him, had one of the Academy members or whatever, go up to him and say, hey, listen, come with us, whatever, and your wife comes too. Keep them like in a room. We call it the green room or something like that. You just like have the actors there and say, look, because the LEPD did get involved anyway. So if they were going to get involved,
Yeah,
you
they went
bring
to his
them
house
there.
or something. Like
What?
after, didn't they like go to his house or something after?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know that
I saw
part. But
something on the news like I think they apparently like I don't think Chris was gonna press charges, but I think like there was a police car I heard that went to his house or something, but then I guess they dropped the charges or something.
I don't know. I know that Chris was like, which it's a great move from Chris because honestly, I feel like if since he didn't do anything, which I felt like he handled it really well, but if he did like press charges at that moment, I felt like it would be kind of like a pussy thing to do. Like that. Here's the thing though: if you want to fight, if you want to really fight, and that guy said it, like if he says it anywhere else like that, it's kind of like an annoyance. Like you shouldn't really say that. But if you want to fight, okay, do it somewhere else, like in a private setting, right? You do that, right? But here at this moment, it was so completely like it just made the Oscars worse, I feel. Now the thing is, I bet with you that the numbers went higher though in the Oscars.
That's the thing I was gonna say
Yeah.
because I actually was like falling asleep during the Oscars because
You're
like
like, ooh, yeah,
that's the one thing that woke me up. I even made a TikTok about it. I was like, because like it was so
Yeah.
repetitive. Like fucking like I didn't care for Amy Schumer, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
Dune kept winning like every award.
right,
So I was like, all right, I was literally like about to turn off my TV, and then that shit happened,
yeah,
and then that's when I got invested. And I was like, oh shit! And then Will Smith won the award after, and you were wondering if he was gonna like say something about that, but
yeah.
I don't know. It's weird.
He
Um,
he knew he messed up too when he won that award. Like he was crying, but part of the because here's the thing: the whole thing was he did that, sat down. The guy won the award, commercial break, and then Bradley Cooper came up, Denzel came up, Tyler
I
Perry
forgot
came
about
up to
that.
him. Yeah, and they were all trying to comfort him. And in a standing ovation, I was like, it really like it basically showed volumes on how Hollywood like they're just so disconnected from reality and they're so like connected to just each moment, right? And it's like I felt like they did it wrong because it's a standing ovation, fine. He won the award. That's whatever. The Academy should have kicked him out or say, look, you got to stay here. We're going to have the police come. Chris is going to talk, whatever. Okay, you got to leave. Even if it was predestined that he was going to win the award, I would have kicked him out because that type of behavior shouldn't be condoned. And if they did kick him out that moment, it'll show that, like, listen, we're all people, right? It doesn't matter how much wealth or power you have or how famous you are. You shouldn't do that, right? Now what that showed is anything could happen. And a lot of comedians were saying this is going to be like probably a dangerous environment. Maybe people are actually going to try to recreate that. 'Cause you know how people are crazy. I don't know to what extent people are going to try to do that. But I feel like even in a standing ovation that he had and when he was giving a speech, he was crying. He knew he fucked up. And the thing is, he doesn't seem like he has a lot of remorse. Because after what he said he repeated what Denzel told him. And then he said his apologies to people, and he didn't even directly say it to Chris. And he just said in an Instagram post. It's like, that's fucked up. And I really do think like a lot, whatever, people are saying don't bring Jada into it, but like I really like just spilling the tea on it. I feel like Jada like had a good like part to play, and like she's probably like manipulating him or something. I don't know. I heard they had like an open marriage, and even what's her name? One of the hosts from the Oscars said like a joke on their open marriage, right? And it's like it also shows like if the roles were reversed, how would that play out? Like if a woman said that to Will, how would it play, right? So it's like there's a lot of depth to that moment, and it's so shocking, and I feel like that's why a lot of people keep talking about it. And I feel like it's for sure it's gonna like be in history, and like that's sad too for Chris,
And with social media, they always tend to blow things out of proportion. So I think that attributes to why I feel like Will, like we were talking about this earlier, I feel like Will probably had to sit down with like the Academy or like his people, and he was probably like pressured to make a statement. Or something. I think Chris handled it really well, actually. Like for that, I mean, it's an awkward situation, but I think he handled it really well. I don't think the joke was appropriate. I think he should have. There's some things like you have to like reserve. Especially like if you don't know your audience. But this is why I also think like the Oscars, like nowadays, like they're trying too hard to like push like these like humor and these weird like stupid jokes in it, which I think is making it less like classy, like you said. But there's faults on both sides. But yeah, I agree. I think definitely the slap was out of line. I think if he was gonna do it, he should have, like you said, done it behind closed doors. Maybe take that.
He walks him to like a room and he slaps him, like leads him there.
He does like Wilson Fisk, like he puts him in the corner. He's like, "Give me your jacket." He wraps the jacket and he's like knocking him on the door and shit.
Or maybe he did that like on purpose, just like at the moment he felt like too macho. He's like, "Let me disrespect this guy like in front of
doing it in front of a live audience, like and the biggest night on television. I think that's a lot. Like that's almost like humiliating in a way. And I mean, I get it. Like you could say like Chris also did kind of humiliate Jada too, but I think like he should have like took Chris aside and be like, "Hey man, that wasn't cool" or something. I don't know. I think Daniel Radcliffe said it best. I think he said like he's tired of like hearing about it, and like people are just like blowing it way out of proportion.
Oh, Daniel said that? Oh wow.
Yeah, actually, I think it was like a Twitter or something. He said. But I agree. I think like I think people tend to like make the worst out of drama. But like you said, it's definitely going to be remembered in history.
Oh, for sure.
Unfortunately, that's the one highlight of the Oscars in like 10 years.
Yeah, well, a lot of people are saying it wasn't on purpose. I don't think it was on purpose, but yeah, I feel like you should come over to my house and slap me, and we record it so that we get more views or something.
Well, that's funny. I think to solve this whole issue, I think Chris deserves one slap.
Oh, well, get Logan Paul to make a boxing match, and then there you go, or Jake Paul.
Make like a Patreon like petition or some shit.
Like, look, 15 mil just to lose or something. There you go.
Like how like Stewie like beat up Brian, and then Brian was like, "Oh, I'm gonna like I think I deserve one good hit on you."
All right, I know. Hey, you got my slap. You got my slap, Will. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's a weird situation, but. I'm sorry for this long cold open, guys. I know we're supposed to get into Morbius, but I think the Oscars was way more interesting in my opinion.
Probably so. Yes, this conversation.
The only time I'll actually talk more about the Oscars than a movie.
Right? Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, well, if you guys are here with us, we're so sorry for this video to do this review. I mean, so let's get right into it, I guess.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Lunch Table Podcast with Dylan and Akram. We are back, and we are here for our Morbius review. I actually just came out of the theater and watched it. Akram's already seen it. So we have some opinions on it. It's a very, I wouldn't say controversial, but it's a very divided audience. So it feels very short to me, but yeah. So let's just get into it. Akram, your initial thoughts.
Yeah, I felt like it wasn't as bad as people were saying it to be. I think they used the wrong language to review the film. I feel like it was very much like a unsignificant type of movie. It was like you kind of feel like, yeah, whatever, and you left. It wasn't something where it's like terrible, but it didn't have any lingering feelings for you. And I feel like the only lingering feeling I got was watching the end credit. I felt like that was the most significant part. And still that I felt like was really sloppy. And we'll discuss that a little bit later because we have a lot of questions about that. And it didn't match, basically. But yeah, all in all, it was a so-so movie, but it wasn't like a God damn, this movie awful shit. It wasn't like that, you know? But I think Venom, actually, I felt like I didn't like Venom as much. Venom 2, I'm sorry. But yeah, so going right into it, what did you think about the movie?
Like I said, if you swap symbiotes for vampires, that's basically this whole thing was basically Venom Let There Be Carnage.
Victory.
Oh my god! But no, I agree with what you said. It didn't feel, it wasn't terrible, but it definitely wasn't. It didn't live. I actually think Venom 1 was better in my opinion. It definitely has the same tone and style as Venom, so it's definitely got that Sonyverse style. I hope that's probably what they're going to be doing for all their projects now. Things I liked about it, I did think I did like Jared Leto's performance. I think that's one of the few performances I actually think he was perfect for, because he felt so natural as the character, and I think every scene with him, explaining biology and shit. I like the little sciencey scenes because we never really get that in like superhero movies like that where they break down, because I feel like this could actually happen. It's actual well there are blood disorder issues out there in the world, right? So I feel like they took that and they incorporated it really well as a character motivation. He's trying. He's an actual scientist. He's trying, to develop a cure for people with this type of disorder. He's trying to help young children, and I really like that opening backstory. I think that was a really tragic backstory because I feel like it was so sad what he had to go through, and it really added a depth to his character. But that I liked his performance. Matt Smith was okay as a villain. It wasn't totally that whole dance scene he was doing was so cringy.
It was like the Halloween kill scene with that guy. Remember?
Yeah.
You should have put the music. Oh my god!
If you play the same song to that, it could match so his dance moves could add. I don't know. It was weird. I do like Matt Smith as an actor. I think he's played villains in the past. I think he played that one character in One Night in Soho where he played a really I don't know. But and then also he's gonna be in House of the Dragon for Game of Thrones prequel. So I'm interested to see what he's gonna bring for that. But for this role, because I wasn't really sure what role he was gonna play, but he plays and I was still confused on his name because they were calling him Milo and Lucian. I couldn't differentiate the names.
He said you gave me my name or some shit like that later on. I was like, you gave me my nickname. What if we just called him Doggy or something like that? Is that
they call
significant?
him the Doctor or some shit. This motherfucker got more nicknames than Mark Spector.
Yeah.
So that was weird. Yeah, even the opening sequence, with the graphics, was weird. It didn't really fit the tone of this movie because it's supposed to be really dark. Felt like I was watching a fucking Tame Impala light show or something.
Right? Oh my goodness!
If they got Kevin from Tame Impala, he looks just like Michael Morbius. So
there you go.
Probably would have been the same thing. But the first half I liked. The second half felt way too rushed, in my opinion. It felt like this whole second half was just him. There's a climax and then it's done right. There's nothing really to add. The post-credit scenes, as you mentioned, didn't really add much for me. I know it's a trope now where every superhero movie has to have a post or an end credit scene, but I felt like this movie should have worked better as a standalone. I think there's some movies where like you don't need to incorporate it into a bigger universe. But I mean, obviously it's part of the Venom verse and the Spider Verse, so they had to incorporate it somehow. But it was weird because the mid credit scene and the post credit scene were so alike. They should have just combined it. Like I don't think they really need to split it up. But yeah, those are just my overall thoughts. Tell me more what you thought about it.
Yeah, everything you said, I agree with. It definitely felt like, to me at least, like an early 2000s movie at first, or like even Venom. Kind of felt like that. Like I had my reservations about Venom because I was like, there's a whole origin story that you kind of skipped out and you basically changed. And like here, it's so weird now seeing that they're so like involved with the MCU, but not so much. It's like this pseudo MCU. It's like really weird. It's like we just got to show you the end credit. That like since I agree with everything you've said, honestly, like again, Jared Leto, I like him as an actor. I mean, he's a phenomenal actor in like some of his other films that he's done. Here, like I actually did like him. At the villain, it felt really forced. It didn't really match. I don't know. It was like a lot of like slow mo. Like that subway scene was really awkward blocking. It was like this is running for a little bit too long. This is a little weird,
Even the fight scenes were weird because they were trying to do. I hate when movies do this so much. They always try to do like these weird, like there's like so much build up in action, and then they do this weird like slow motion like Matrix polish. I hate that shit so much.
It didn't go anywhere. It was just like slow, but it wasn't like slow mo connecting hits. It was just like slow mo like pose. Yeah. And then we see like this undescribable thing that happens. Like that last scene where they were fighting, I couldn't see shit. I was like this.
I know,
couldn't
it was so
see.
dark. I was like, all I saw were bats and shit. And I was like,
I was about to close my eyes.
Fucking The Dark Knight or some shit. And they did the same thing that they did in Batman Begins, where he steps into the bats.
Yo,
that was the same. Don't tell me that wasn't the same shit.
I swear I heard the music. I swear I heard na na. I swear I heard something like that. It's like I thought it was an Easter egg.
Get on their asses, bro.
I mean. Like, and then the bats were like this like different type of, I don't know, it was like some weird different type of bat, because I know other bats, they eat different stuff, but like besides blood, but like this one just solely like relies on blood or something like that.
Aren't bats blind too? Like he should not have had like good, well they kind of, I did think his powers, like the way they showed it was cool, like the echolocation thing.
Yeah. Cool visuals.
Even like his weird like little Olympian like sprint and shit.
So he flies like, so I thought that, well, first of all, that makes
fly. That made no sense.
Yeah, that makes no sense. That's like that. So like they could have just said something, it's magical or some shit like that. Like it would have been difficult to say. He's
not that kind of vampire. He's more like a scientific like vampire.
And it's the most weirdest thing, because, and I don't think he even flies normal. It's just like I think he follows the wind currents and somehow makes himself like lighter, because they showed like wind currents and he's like woo, and he just like kind of like stays like that. That was, I don't know. I wish
the Batman did that shit better with the flight suit. At least that made sense.
Well, wouldn't that be interesting if he created, like, so since he's a scientist, I don't know that company's, and wouldn't that be cool if he just like kind of grabbed something to kind of like fly and he could see the wind? I guess that'll make more sense. That'll be
the
more
only thing
believable.
I could think of was like maybe his bones got like more lighter, because bats' bones are like really light. But then it's still weird because bats have like they have the fibers of their wings. That's how they glide. So like he just fucking like did a Superman jump, and this man was like sprinting like 80 feet in the air and some shit. And you know what the funniest scene was for me? When when he's escaping from the two cops, and then he jumps on that fucking like parking building. Oh. And then the cop, what's his Tyrese Gibson's character. Yeah. He follows him in like 2 seconds. He gets to the top of the building in like 2 seconds. I'm like, how the fuck did this man like get to the top of the building?
I like, that's the thing. The promotion for that and like the stills that I've seen, he has like that
so
arm.
Inconsistent. Yeah.
I was wondering if he's like a character from the comics. Like maybe he's gonna like they're gonna reveal that, oh, he's this famous character we just didn't know because he's just a cop here. It's like I don't know what was going on with him. Like why did they kind of like show that he was kind of more than natural, I guess? Like I don't know, because it's true, he went up there super fast. It's like I didn't get that. I feel like there's like a deleted like there's an extended cut of this movie. I'm pretty sure there is.
Yeah, it definitely feels there were a lot of cuts that were made, because like we didn't see like the scene where like Michael Keaton's like, oh hey, Dr. Morbius, like that.
Yeah,
scene, like
I forgot about that. Yeah, I mean, all right, so
the Venom scene where he's like oh hey, I'm Dr. Michael Morbius. He just says like, oh, I'm Venom.
That probably threw everyone off that's not a fan of these like type of movies. That's like, oh, so we should call him Venom then. So so That's a
Yeah,
superhero name.
it was really confusing. They should have got your ass to edit this video because I feel like you would have done a better job.
Thank you. There you go. Thank you.
But yeah, it was really inconsistent, and it's really a shame because like you know, Morbius, he's not even like a well known character, but I feel like they could have given him more depth.
Yeah.
And they've done that for a lot of characters like in the MCU too. So it's a shame really because but I think he is, I mean, more of like a prominent. And you know what? I wish the only thing that could have helped this movie, in my opinion, which I don't know if they could have done because it's an MCU property, but if they would have brought Blade at the end, I feel like that
Oh.
would have fixed this whole movie.
Oh, that is so
Because the-
funny you said that because he was in a deleted scene. For
He was in
Blade.
the end of Eternals, right?
Oh no, but yeah, but I was saying original Blade movie, Morbius was actually on top of
Right.
the rooftop. That was like an end scene.
Oh yeah, that's true.
yeah, that would have been a cool like type of reference.
That would have been the perfect ending for me because they left it on such a weird. Because he killed Milo and then he was just like he just rolled out and he was like fuck whatever, I'm just gonna do whatever the fuck. But I feel like they should have expanded more on that because he still has this virus. You know, he's still looking for a cure. He had a second poison thing that he never used.
Right.
So that was weird. So I feel like because Blade would have been the perfect ending in my opinion because Blade has the thirst, for blood. But they kind of expanded this in the original Blade where he has like those blood little serum things that he uses like to feed himself.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like having Blade at the end of that, he could have helped him like find like a cure or like a treatment, for him, so he's not always like losing control of his powers. And then maybe he could help Blade like Morbius could help Blade like fight vampires, but then Blade could also help Morbius like find a cure for himself. Something just like to expand on it.
Right.
Instead of having this rush climax where he just kills the villain and it's like, oh, that's it. And then they also they showed like forgot what the doctor's name was, the lady that was helping him.
Oh,
Like,
she comes back. Yeah.
Yeah, she barely like came back, and that was such a weird thing too, because like the fuck, what's the owner of the orphanage, their dad.
Yeah. He was in Chernobyl, the show, and like a couple other. Yeah.
I forget the guy's name, but yeah, he died, and then
Right.
she died. It was such like everybody's dying left and right,
Right.
and then she apparently like comes back. Like I think like she swallowed his blood or something. Maybe
Yeah.
that's how she got his powers. I don't know how that works.
Me neither.
Yeah, really
Well,
inconsistent.
Since we talk
but-
about that, so let's talk about, I guess, the main point of the whole movie was the end. You might as well just show the end credits and then that's it, not show the movie. But like the end credits were really, I'd say, significant because we did see Michael Keaton in the most confusing way that doesn't make sense towards the MCU. And it felt like such like a Sony pull, like, oh, we're just going to throw him in here because, yeah, we're going to do more of Spider-Man villains since Marvel's not going to be really involved after No Way Home, probably. So give us your thoughts on those two end credits.
Well, they might as well made fucking Flashpoint Paradox and him being Batman at this
Yeah.
point because that would have made more sense for this movie.
Oh, man.
But yeah, so mid-credit scene, we see Michael Keaton's Vulture, Adrian Toomes from Spider-Man No Way Home, and then he just pops up in this random jail cell that's like empty, and he's like, oh yeah, his literally like not even like you were commenting, like he's not even like, oh, where am I? He's like, where's my wife and kids? His first lines is literally, I hope the food's better in here.
Oh god. So messed up. Fuck my wife, or he's like to my wife and kids. That was so stupid. That didn't make sense. I was like,
How's the
damn,
pie? So good.
this motherfucker cold.
Right? We know why he turned villain. He just wanted that divorce paper.
Shit, he wanted that Sony money. He's like, fuck y'all. Shit.
But okay, so we see him, and then it cuts to him like he's getting released because apparently like they don't know who this motherfucker is. He just shows up in a cell. So they're like, oh, I guess we're just gonna release him. Granted, he's already in a fucking prison suit, so they should have like interrogated him, be like, hey, what were you here for, right?
Right.
And then so we get that. That's the mid-credit scene, and then we get the Tame Impala credits, and then and then the post-credit scene is like Michael Morbius is like driving out, and then like we just see like Vulture like roll up. He's already got his tech, which makes no sense because Iron Man tech doesn't exist in this universe. How the fuck did he get those wings? Like he doesn't have his crew that he had in Spider-Man No Way or Homecoming. So like where the fuck did he get his technology from? And then he rolls up. He's like, "Yeah, Michael Morbius. Like, I heard about you. Like, we should like recruit guys like us, and then like do some good." Like, that made no sense. Because first of all, you didn't do any good in the first film. So what
Yeah.
good you talking about, motherfucker? Like,
Yep.
and then like, yeah, it was really like inconsistent. But like, enough of my ranting. What did you think about them?
No, yeah, that was so like again, I feel like here Sony was like because again, I feel like Spider-Man No Way Home was like a soft reboot, the ending at least. Like, okay, you're done. So Marvel, you're kind of done with Spider-Man. Let's take him back, right? And we're making films about his villains, like Craven the Hunter. They're filming right now. We already have Venom 2. We have Morbius. So okay, what's the next story we might do? Maybe we'll try to tease this event, kind of like Thanos, where it's like, oh, all these villains they're slowly gonna gather up. But that's the problem, right? If you make a movie about villains, you have to make them likable. Like for example, Peacemaker. When we're watching Peacemaker, right? We didn't like him at first, what he did to Rick Flag, and then all of a sudden now we love him, right? So I like Morbius. He looks like a decent guy. And Venom, I like Venom. They seem like decent dudes. So it's like, how are you going to get these cast of characters to like basically beat Spider-Man near to death? Why would you do that? And also, Michael Keaton's character comes into this universe that doesn't make sense. Again, he's from the MCU, so what happened there? It felt so forced and such like a duct tape and glue together type of scene where like we might as well the tech that he got again, like yeah, like how did he get that? And he's an exact costume too. And I didn't even figure. I thought at first because I couldn't really see that well, like for some reason. So I thought at first that fire. I thought that was like Molten Man, the lava guy. At first, I was like, oh, they're having two villains show up. Yeah, that it didn't come together really well at all. And also why Morbius? They should have just had Morbius say like. Michael Keaton says, "Hey, you want to beat the shit out of Spider-Man?" He's like, "Fuck yeah, dude, let's do it." And then they just go and beat the shit out of Spider-Man. It was such like I don't have words for it. It was just so
and there's
sloppy.
no really like there's no connection between Vulture and Morbius if you think about it.
No,
just think about it. There's no connection because like okay, he was like, "Oh, I heard about you." Okay, so
right,
like what does Morbius have that you need, right?
Exactly.
Because Morbius hasn't heard of Spider-Man. He's not like a villain of Spider-Man. So like, why the fuck are you just like randomly like going out? Like, you should be more worried about trying to get back to your own fucking universe. First
Wow, that
of all,
Sony money's good
because
they bought me my
made no
wings.
sense in my opinion. Because I was like, because why did he show up in that universe? Right? Like we talked a little bit about this. Like, because that's not even because when Doctor Strange made the spell, all the villains of Spider-Man should have been in the Tom Holland's, I guess that's Earth 616, I guess, for the MCU or whatever.
Yeah.
In that universe, right? And Adrian Toomes was already in that universe. He's part of that universe.
Right.
So why the fuck did he go to another universe that has no Spider-Man in it?
Yes.
That made no. I mean, I guess we have the. So I guess Morbius takes place in Venom's, the Tom Hardy Venom's universe, because we see like the Daily Bugle, and then it's the same tone and style. But as far as we know, that universe has no Spider-Man in it. So why the fuck did he end up there in the first place?
Well, and it harkens back to Venom thing. Like, how does Venom... All right, so Venom said, I traveled very far. So I forget how I went. All right. You could travel billions of light years. You could keep traveling. You're still in a different fucking universe anyway. You still need Doctor Strange's spell to kind of like, so how did you see Spider-Man? That was really sloppy, right? And you didn't do anything with Venom except the end credit in Spider-Man No Way Home. And then here... there's no Spider-Man, right? So it's like, you want to go fuck up Spider-Man? Okay. Are you going to take a bus to like Earth 616? Like, how are you going to actually go there? Like, are you guys going to like draw or something?
Take SEPTA or some shit.
Like, it was so sloppy. And my questioning is, maybe it's one of those things where I'm giving a benefit of the doubt. Maybe it's one of those things where you kind of have to wait to see it unfold. So like maybe after Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, everything is kind of melded. Now that's really sloppy because there's a lot of technical issues with that as well, like X-Men.
And that's an MCU film, so you're relying on an MCU film to fix your Sonyverse movie,
right? And so at that point, you might as well just let Disney have the character. So I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna plan to do. Maybe it's one of those things where it's like you kind of have to like oversee it and just go with the flow. And at the same time, too, the director said in a recent interview, I believe he said, that he didn't want to mention Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man in this movie for some reason. That didn't make sense. I don't know why he said that, but now I'm thinking, oh, is are these movies taking place actually in Andrew Garfield's universe? Which doesn't make sense because we have a graffiti painting in a trailer
Of
of
Toby Spider-Man.
right. So it's like I feel like they have like a mix of like different opinions on how they want to like introduce Spider-Man and who's the actual Spider-Man. Obviously, we saw Doctor Strange No Way Home, and the end credits showed that little thing happening. So obviously, I would consider MCU Spider-Man to be it because obviously Vulture. So I'm thinking Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness will do something to meld everything in a way, which doesn't make sense because now you're gonna have like 3 Spider-Men and 616 and you're gonna have X-Men. So I don't know how it's gonna unfold in a proper fashion where it's like you can't just universe hop easily. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be pretty hard to do, but I don't know if it's like the door is gonna be open for anything.
It's already hard enough trying
I
to
don't know.
explain the multiverse, but now you're just making it more complicated.
Yeah, like I would have just, if you wanted to have Vulture in there, like honestly what I would have done is don't don't speak about it, just show like maybe that's a different version of Vulture in that Venom verse and that's it. Like don't overcomplicate it like, oh, he's from Earth 616. Just leave him be like a variant or something like that. And then if you want to have Michael Keaton as Vulture still, there you go, that's your variant, right? And don't say anything about family. Maybe he's a different version. Don't say anything about Spider-Man. Maybe he has to be introduced in that universe or something. Or you could have did a smart thing and stick with Marvel from the start and kind of like introduce Venom into the MCU, right? And so you won't have to have this complication. They could have done that. And now they kind of made a mess for themselves and they still want to do an Aunt May film. No, they didn't want to do that, but they used to want to do that. I'm still mad about that.
I'm done. I'm done.
I'm still mad about that. It's like Aunt May is like John Wick or something like that. Like they just like transform it. I don't know. Again, like you guys, let us know in the comments below what you thought. At a 1 to 10, my rating for it, I give it. I'm generous, so I give it like a 7 out of 10 because it was okay. It was basically nothing to me. I'm like Kylo Ren, like you're nothing, you're whatever.
But not to me.
Right, so Marvel traded you for drinking money or
Right.
something. What do
It's
you
bad
would
when
give
I
it?
actually like prefer the sequels over you.
Yeah.
I'm giving it a. I hate to bash films
Mhm.
because I like to see the benefit of the doubt. I like to, like you said, like maybe this will unfold into something more relevant.
Right.
I do like to see like the positives in a movie, but there weren't as many positives in this movie that I saw. So I'm gonna be really nice and give it a 6 out of 10. So I'm sorry, but it is what it is. You guys can watch the movie for yourselves. You probably have contrasting opinions. Some people were saying like, it's one of Sony's better movies, which is not much to say given they've only had 2 movies out. Yeah, I don't know what to say much about it, but I mean, it was okay as a popcorn film. So, it doesn't really add much. But we'll just have to see what unfolds. I'm hoping the Sonyverse expands into something nice that isn't so dependent on Spider-Man. I think that's really what makes it lackluster in my, because the MCU, like I've talked about, is transforming in a way that it's not dependent on the Avengers. I like that. They're trying to branch out, make every hero, whether it's their own movie or the show, it's more about them. It's trying to be like a standalone. Yeah, they mention the Avengers now and then, and like Endgame and Infinity War and all that jazz. But every movie from Endgame now is more about the title, right? So Loki is about Loki, WandaVision is about Wanda, Falcon and Winter Soldier. It's more about them. But all these Sonyverse movies now, it just feels like everything is just a part of Spider-Man now, and I don't like that. I think they should really try harder to make things, because I like Morbius' story. I really did. I think like if they had just kept it about Morbius and like took that whole Vulture shit out, and made the ending better, I think it could have been a solid film. But the fact that they tried so hard to make it about Spider-Man again, and Spider-Man should just be about Spider-Man, right? Even Venom, because Venom did have his own solo series in the comics, which I think it wasn't as strong in Let There Be Carnage, but still, it's more about Venom, right? It's not about Spider-Man. Well, you could say until the end credit scene of that movie. So I think if Morbius had just like stuck to its own roots, or maybe added like Blade at the end and make it more about like this darker side of Marvel that we don't see because Spider-Man is such a lighthearted character sometimes. So maybe if they would have just dug deeper into like that darker half of Marvel, I think it could have been a stronger film. But for now, it's not a strong film in my opinion. So that's all I have to say about it. Unless you have any final things to add.
No, you basically said it. Yeah.
But yeah, sorry that wasn't much to go off, guys. But that's generally our opinion of Morbius. But like I said, you guys probably have different opinions about it. But thank you for listening to our review. We have a lot more content coming out this week. We've got our Moon Knight episode 1 review coming. We have Halo. We're a bit behind schedule with that, but episodes 1 and 2 will be coming out soon. So just be patient, guys. We have a lot of great content. And if you haven't watched our Defenders episode that just came out, we revisited good quality television. So since the Defenders, oh by the way, if you're having trouble like with the Defenders series, because I was trying to watch it on Disney Plus, but they didn't really explain like because you have to set the parental controls first before you watch Defenders, because if you just try to open it on Disney Plus, you're not going to be able to watch it.
Oh.
So you have to go to parental controls and set up a password for that before you can actually watch Defenders. Because the Defenders is TVMA, so it's for mature audiences.
Right.
But yeah, watch the Defenders first and then watch our Defenders revisited episode.
There you go.
Great job, because Akram did such a phenomenal job editing.
Oh, no.
So
Kudos
that John
to you.
took like 5 hours to download.
Yeah, that was something. That
was a meaty
jam-packed.
episode. So
Yeah,
so definitely check it out if you haven't already. Make sure you're following the podcast on Instagram, YouTube, whatever social platform you're listening to on. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, and we're always trying to do more for our channel. So be on the lookout. But thank you again, guys, for listening. And until then, thanks for having lunch with us.
See you guys.
They still do Cosmo.